Hi guys, and welcome back to Reader on the Right. My name is Rachel and today we're going to be going over all of the books that I read in the month of March. As well as that, there is also a really exciting book that I have to review for you. I've been lucky enough to be a part of the blog tour. Today is my day, so I'm going to be going through a little in-depth review of that first of all. Very quickly, I do just want to apologise that it's been a little bit of time since my last video. With everything that's going on in the world at the moment, it's been a little bit difficult to feel motivated to make videos, but I do realise that these are the kind of videos that I personally watch to make myself feel a little bit better. But I really hope everybody is staying safe and well, and hopefully this will all be over soon. I'm going to get stuck into my main book review that I have for this video. This is super exciting. So this is, whoa, that looks amazing on camera. This is Mortiman Hall by Martin Edwards. Literally, that is stunning. Wow. As you can see, it's a very beautiful cover. So like I said, I was lucky enough to be a part of the blog tour for this book. This book is available now for you to buy straight away. It came out earlier this month, I believe. I just want to say a very quick thank you to all the team at Midas PR for still managing to send me this book. I'm super grateful, and for including me in this fantastic blog tour. This book is a crime thriller mystery novel. It was actually the CWA Diamond Dagger 2020 winner, which is super exciting, and I'm going to read you the blurb so you can get a proper insight into the book. England, 1930. Grieving widows are a familiar sight on London's Necropolis Railway, so when an elegant young woman in a black veil boards the funeral train, nobody guesses her true purpose. Rachel Savonick is there to save a life, the life of a man who is supposed to be cold in the grave. But her mission is derailed by suspicious death on the tracks, spurring her on to investigate a sequence of baffling mysteries: a death in a blazing car, a killing in a seaside bungalow, a tragic drowning in a frozen lake. Rachel is sure the cases are connected. To prove her theory, she joins a house party at Mortiman Hall on the eerie, remote North Yorkshire coast. Her inquiries are helped, and sometimes hindered, by the impetuous young journalist Jacob Flint and an eccentric female criminologist with a dangerous fascination with perfect crimes. But my mom is a huge fan of Agatha Christie. One of the shelves back here, I think it's up here, you can't really see it from where you are, but it's a shelf up here, is a shelf just entirely of Agatha Christie. She adores crime writing. One of our traditions that we used to do as a family is we'll get together on a Sunday evening and watch a Miss Marple or a Poirot or even a Jonathan Creek. And this gave me that kind of vibe. Obviously it's set in the 1930s, so it is that golden age of crime mystery, but it really had the pacing and the detail that you would find in an Agatha Christie, whereas it didn't feel like a copy of her writing or anything like that. It had its own unique style. Yeah, it really gave me those, like, I was gonna say like cozy Agatha Christie vibes. Do you know what I mean? Maybe slightly biased that the character is called Rachel, but Rachel Savonick was a really interesting character. She was headstrong. It was nice to have that refreshing take on a character in the 1930s, and I liked her kind of amateur sleuth style. I thought it was really interesting to see things from her perspective and how the pieces kind of came together. There are a lot of very detailed subplots woven together here, and as this kind of genre tends to dictate, there is a kind of reveal at the end, and in all honesty, I didn't guess it. I didn't see it coming. It kept me guessing, and there is quite a lot of exposition in this book, I will say, which if you're into your more kind of detailed, crafted writing, you'll really enjoy. But it does kind of take a while for the plot side of things to really get going. The opening of it, however, we meet Rachel on this funeral train talking to a man who she refers to as a ghost, and how she believes that he's actually an imposter of somebody else and has faked his own death. And she offers him some advice. He refuses to take that advice, and then shortly after he's found dead on the tracks. The opening like few chapters really got me in, and then you get all that lovely exposition, and then it slowly weaves itself together. Every single link is connected. It's very smart. There's also two characters that I liked: Jacob, who is kind of the main character, and Leonora, who lives at Mortiman Hall, where the kind of last portion of the book really takes place. I liked both of those as well. I feel like all of the characters in it are generally quite well rounded. If you want to read something that is very much Agatha Christie style, very in the kind of like Poirot area specifically, I would say this is definitely the book for you. I found it really enjoyable. I found it gripping. I read it all in the space of a few short hours, so it's something that was genuinely quite page turny. But yeah, if you just want to immerse yourself in something that might be a little bit different for you, then I definitely recommend it. So next I'm going to talk about the rest of the books that I read in the month of March. The first one that I read this all the way back the first 2 days in March. It literally feels like a lifetime ago since I read this. This is Braised Pork by Anne Yu. I was really excited to read this. This sounded like my kind of character study, in-depth, strange book, and I'm not sure if I liked it. I think unfortunately I can tell that by the fact that I've just come back to review this and I can't really remember that much about it. It follows the character of Jia, who is married to a man, and one day she goes into the bathroom and finds him in a very awkward position in the bathtub, sort of like a turtle shape, and he is dead. And we kind of follow her through her grief process. Across the road from where she lives there is a bar, and there's a man that works at the bar called Leo, and I did really like his character. They have a kind of passionate affair, which is a little bit more complicated than that, but I did really like his character. But in the last half of the book where she travels, it kind of lost me a little bit. I've read into other people's reviews and I've done a little bit of research, and I feel like it's very metaphorical. It's definitely not straightforward, and it leaves you with more questions than it does answer anything. And I guess that is the point, and Anne Yu is a fantastic author. I really like the style of the writing. It was something that I read very quickly, but I'm just not quite sure if it lived up to exactly what I was hoping, unfortunately. The next book was something I was super excited to get my hands on, and it lived up to the hype. I loved it. So this is Recollections of My Non-Existence by Rebecca Solnit. This is published by Granta. I received this as a review copy, so thank you so much to Granta for sending me this. I am a big fan of Rebecca Solnit. I reviewed 2 of her books on the channel before. Men Explain Things to Me, and there was another one that I reviewed a couple of years ago. Both fantastic. This is an autobiography of sorts of Rebecca's life as she grew up in the 1980s, and the things she's encountered, the things she had to deal with, and the things that she saw. This book was a lot more shocking than I expected. I guess I didn't really know much about her younger life, but her upbringing was turbulent to say the least. In 1981, a 19-year-old woman named Rebecca Solnit rented an apartment studio in San Francisco that would be her home for the next 25 years, where she would transform into a writer and activist who speaks for the marginalised. There she encountered an epidemic of volume against women and their exclusion from cultural arenas by a society that preferred women to shut up or go away. 4 decades on, she describes how over time she broke through the oppression and found her voice, liberated by West Coast activism, growing gay pride and punk rock, as well as the world of literature and books. I think the thing that I really enjoyed throughout this is that it's written so beautifully, but you really get that sense of anger that she felt and the feeling of oppression, but yet how she managed to find her voice. I think ultimately what this book provides is hope, is the feeling of, regardless necessarily of the upbringing and the oppression that you faced in your life, there is hope. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and I think this is a perfect example of this. I loved it. I couldn't recommend this anymore. I feel like anybody could read this book and love it. Go get it. It's great. So the final book that I read in March was The Accidental Love Letter by Olivia Byrne. This was sent to me for review from Headline Review, so thank you very much for sending me this. I requested it because I needed something happy to read, guys. So this is out on the 16th of April, so in a few short days. I don't tend to read books like this. If you know my channel, you probably know. Again, this kind of like, I don't like the phrase like women's fiction or women's literature is not, but like a cosy, cute read. You know exactly the sort of book that I'm on about. I needed something to warm my heart due to the ever-growing anxiety that I'm currently feeling in this time. And this was like the perfect pick-me-up, in all honesty. So in this we follow the character of B, who is living in her mid-20s, sharing a flat with 2 other girls that she'd known since university, I believe, and one day she receives a letter addressed to a B and she decides to open it, and it is a love letter from a man who is currently in prison. And she doesn't know this man, she's never met him before. But does she decide to just leave it? No. She decides to write back as if she was B. It wasn't what I was expecting. I thought this was going to be a book where somebody receives a letter and it's a love letter and they write back and forth and they fall in love and it's really beautiful. It's not like that at all. The letters actually lead B to go and visit an old people's home. I genuinely just have a soft spot for any books that have elderly people in. I love elderly people. If you just want something to delve into and take your mind off what is going on right now and just experience a little bit of bliss and see life through somebody else's shoes and get a really cozy romance, this is a perfect book for that. And I had a little cry. But yeah, it's brilliant. I really, really recommend it. Now I'm going to talk about two books that I've started to read in the last couple of days. Hopefully they'll be in my April wrap up. So the first one is Spark by Naoki Matayoshi. This is published by Pushkin Press. I received this as a review copy, so thank you very much, Pushkin Press. Literally, as you can see, I'm currently 29 pages in. This is a really interesting book. It's, again, something very different, and I feel like it's going to be a really nice snapshot into these characters' lives. So this follows the character of Tokunaga, who is a young comedian, and he gets taken under the wing of this crazy genius comedian called Kamiya. And honestly, that's all I've read so far. It says that it's a Netflix series, so I might look into that and see. Might watch that afterwards. It was translated from the Japanese by Alison Watts. I tend to always really, really enjoy translated Japanese fiction, so I'm excited to keep reading this. I'll keep you updated. I'll let you know. And the last book that I've started reading, I've literally read a couple of pages of this last night, but I want to mention it because I'm already excited. This is Raybearer by Jordan Ifuko. This is the proof copy version. This is very kindly sent to me by Hotkey Books, so thank you very much. But the official cover is out now and it is gorgeous. It's on their Twitter if you want to go and have a look. It's stunning. So this is out on the 14th of April, so literally in a couple of days. I'm going to read you the blurb of this one. Tarasai has always longed for the warmth of a family. She was raised in isolation by a mysterious, often absent mother known only as the Lady. The Lady sends her to the capital of the global empire of Arutza to compete with other children to be chosen as one of the Crown Prince's Council of 11. If she's picked, she'll join with the other council members through the Ray, a bond deeper than blood. That closeness is irresistible to Tarasai, who has always wanted to belong somewhere. But the Lady has other ideas, including a magical wish that Tarasai is compelled to obey: kill the Crown Prince once she gains his trust. Tarasai won't stand by and become someone's pawn, but is she strong enough to choose a different path for herself? Again, I just want to get myself immersed into a fantastical world, which is why I'm reaching for these different genres that I don't necessarily go for, just so I can spend a little bit of time away from everything that's going on currently. But yeah, again, I will report back. Thank you all so much for watching. I do hope this can provide a little bit of escapism for you, and I shall see you in my next video.